Hello, this is Dan Plashkas of S&P Data, one of the founders and partners, and I'm really pleased to do this segment. Today's segment is again a segment 2 of Women in Leadership. We're going to talk to 3 of our site leaders today, and really excited to have Deborah Bro, Gina Myers, and Marianne Ho. I am super excited to say that over 50% of our sites are led by women. And recently, a client that has large-scale needs said that our site management was the best impossible. And I really want to focus on first what I'll call a question: how do you balance work-life, whether you're a mother or a woman? How do you manage your work-life balance, given that the centers are 7 days a week, and so are your kids and or spouses? So why don't we talk about what it means to you, and to be a woman in a leadership position. Deb, why don't we start with you?
Sure, we can start with me. So let me see, what does it mean, work-life balance? I think that's a struggle for everyone, whether you're a woman or not. But as a woman, and especially with a family, so my children are grown, but I do have a young granddaughter now. So I'm still trying to balance, thank you. Still trying to balance, how do I make sure that I have time, because none of my kids live with me anymore. So for me, I have to make sure that I can find the balance, because when I go home at night, they're not there. So in order to make sure that I have the time, time management skills are very important in this industry, because we know we're 24/7. My phone could ring at any given time. It could be on a Saturday night, a Sunday morning. It could be the alarm company in the middle of the night. So we just have to get very good at balancing many balls in the air to make sure that we can get things done. I also rely a lot on my management staff. I have a very good team here. So they're also able to take some of the pressure off. They have their jobs and their requirements, but they're my go-to people. I have 2 very good ops managers. One is a woman, and I rely on them a lot to help me balance everything for not only myself, but the entire team here.
And I love your, in the background, none of us is as smart as all of us. And I think
right,
that's all about the synergy, right? 1 +
Absolutely.
1 = 3. I always tell people, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And if you are the smartest, you better have people to complement your skill, because no one's perfect at everything. And I think that's what I've got here. I'm going to move on to Gina. Gina is out in Newfoundland, but really experienced and seasoned manager. Has really had years of experience, and I really want to talk to her about leadership, because, by the way, you guys also have the family, plus you've had the COVID-19. So Gina, I'm going to turn a question to you that really says, how have you adapted your style now as a site manager, maybe versus how you manage people in some of your other senior roles?
You mean specifically towards the COVID pandemic?
I think that you have 2. So I think you have 2 customers, Gina. I think you have the customers that are daily you perform for, and you have customers that are your employees. And then you have a 3rd customer, that's your family. So why don't you talk about, I guess, the 3-legged stool for a moment, and how you handle it.
Yeah, I think currently in today's climate, obviously we're in a pandemic situation, which has kind of, turned up the dial a little bit. Being in this industry as a leader, I think it benefits my family, because, I have to focus on quality of time, as opposed to quantity of time. I mean, you can be a stay-at-home mom and you can spend a ton of time with your kids, but, if you're not developing, helping them develop skills, getting them to the next level so that they can function on their own, I think and you look at somebody like me, what I tend to do is try to arm my son with the skills where he can get to the next level. He can be an independent adult. And I try to do that in short amounts of time. And he really does, and he really does look to me as an example. And, and specifically now, right, we're dealing with this pandemic situation. Most other industries have shut down. He has, he has seen that I've got up every single day. I've gone to work, and my first worry, obviously, outside of my family, because I do worry that, I'm keeping them safe as well, is that I'm protecting my team, right? So, when
It's
we did
great.
get people to work at home, push them to work at home, it was a lot of late nights. I mean, when we did that launch, I mean, I think all of us site directors were 12, 14, 16 hours some days trying to get people onboarded because we wanted to make sure our team were safe. And then on the flip side, you're making your family safe as well, because you're lessening the impact, the number of bodies within the site. You're taking care of your work family and you're taking care of your home family. And I just think that as a woman in leadership, your kids and your husband, sometimes they learn from you, because
It's great.
skills that you have at home or at work are the same skills at home.
By the way, I feel the same way. Very blessed that we were able to keep open, and obviously we saw at the beginning a lot of people stop showing up, but the way we were adjusted, I do feel very blessed with the pandemic, and I feel blessed to have you guys. And I wanted to now focus on Marion for a moment. So Marion, I'm going to ask you from a different angle. Marion, you've been with us a long time. You must have started at 20, of course, but you worked your way up. So what I take a lot of pride in, that a lot of people recommended you, and you've worked your way up within our organization, and you've held a bunch of different positions with the company, but you've done an amazing job. And I'd like you to talk to what satisfaction do you get, what challenges that you get, and if what is it that really made you successful and get to where you wanted to be, and at the same time talk a bit about your family, which we don't always talk about.
Good questions, Dan. I've just been very blessed and grateful to be working still. I consider the COVID pandemic happening. Working with S&P for quite some time. I want to say 14 years. Started from the phone
beginning,
and then kind of phone and moved up. And being a woman, it's not easy, right? You get challenges every day. But I've been pretty lucky with the support system that we've kind of built from the ground in Hamilton. I have, it's also full of women leaders, right? Heather Mitzi, Christine Green, right?
wow.
Now we're developing more leaders on the Gen Care piece, but from my family's been pretty supportive. I have a 19-year-old boy, and I think having seen me work and have the discipline and spend time with the family, I think it's just to kind of echo what Gina said. It's helping my son to really know what to do. Right, he's taking a business accounting right now. He sees what I do and the sacrifice, long hours that I do.
Yeah.
And he appreciates that. And I only have one in my dog and my husband for a long time. I've just been pretty lucky that, he puts up with the long hours that I do. But, from my end, to really invest some quality time with my family, it's hard to unplug. Even on my vacation, I have my phone, my computer. It's just, I've just been so accustomed that I got to embrace, right, with the change. I've been, I've reported to a number of leaders, from Brian Cato to Cheryl Toss to Don Harp, now Kevin. The techniques and experience just really helped me grow to where I am now, and I'm very appreciative with that. Just learning, and I've been pretty lucky with the seasoned leaders that I have, because they're making it easier for me. Not the last 4 weeks, because we're kind of in the green that we need to get out. But apart from that, I think the work life, it has been pretty great. I love challenges, and the only constant here is change, and I've learned to embrace that.
So great answers, guys, and I'm really so glad that we had this conversation and that we actually took a look in the mirror and said, hey, this is what we have, because it wasn't a conscious decision. I think the best people should manage, and I think that's what's happened, right? In your case, Marion, it's been an evolution, and Gina, in your case, we are blessed to be able to recruit you. And Deb, in your case, it's the way you handle people, right? So there's probably just a greater sensitivity. From my perspective, I take a lot of pride in it. And, you know, it's not just with women. You talk about Brian, but there's, you know, I like to think that I can recognize talent. Marion, in your case, you know, I saw the talent from day one. But this is great, and I hope that you guys continue to evolve. But I also hope that, you know, that you find other aspiring female leaders in our company, because that's the way that we should be, and that those that really aspire to have a career like all of you guys, but all of you also have, you're very proud of your families no matter what stage they're at. So I'm going to wrap that up, and thank you so much for being who you are and doing incredible work. And obviously through the pandemic, it's been escalated as we didn't exactly know, but you know, I take a lot of pride in transparent leadership, and I think you guys are all transparent leaders, which I really believe in. And as leaders, we've never been tested more, and it's never been clearer that you're not just great female leaders, you're great leaders. And thank you again for being with S&P Data.